Heart rate monitors are definitely one of the best training tools out there, and the chest strap is definitely the most accurate option. But are there differences between the more expensive ones and the cheaper ones? Now, I've been using these heart rate monitors pretty much interchangeably, often keeping one in my bag and keeping one of them at home. And I've been using them for running, cycling outdoors, commuting, and Zwifting, and I've also tried swimming in this one, and they've massively helped me with my training. But in this video, we're going to talk about accuracy, comfort, fit, price, and value, so you can choose the best option. Now, in terms of accuracy, I actually can't tell a difference really between them, providing you have it on securely, which is something we definitely need to talk about in a minute. But yes, you do get additional data with the Garmin HRM Pro, which I fully intended to use, but to be honest, I just didn't. I used it for its main sole purpose, which is as a heart rate monitor. So ultimately, for accuracy, I'd say they're both equal, both really good, super accurate, much better than wrist-based heart rate monitors. And also in terms of connectivity, I didn't have any issues with either one of them for the last year. It's just super automatic. I don't have to worry about dropouts or anything like that. Seem really accurate beat for beat. Now onto the fit. Initially, they both fit me really quite well, but more recently, for some reason, I've found that the Garmin HRM Pro has been slipping down often. So if I change position, for example, on the bike, when I'm Zwifting or I'm outdoors or I'm getting particularly sweaty or when I'm running, I find it's kind of slipping down a bit, which is kind of really frustrating if I'm trying to adjust it, and it also means that it might impact the recording of the heart rate, which it has a few times. Now, I'm not 100% sure why that's started happening. It could be because the elastic is getting a little bit looser, so it's hugging me less, or what I think it might be is this material, although it's really sleek and it's a really nice kind of low form factor design, it's actually not that grippy. So if you have it nice and tight, it fits quite well, but the actual kind of material of it isn't as grippy as this cheaper one. That kind of fabric material there is just more grippy all round, so I can have it just as tight, but I don't find it slipping at all. Other than that, they both fit well. Which leads me on to comfort, which is important if you're going to be wearing it a lot of the time, and there's definitely something else we need to talk about when it comes to durability in a second. Garmin one is definitely lighter. You don't feel as if you're wearing a heart rate monitor as much, and the actual monitor here is much thinner, it's much sleeker when you compare it to this one here. It's much bigger. It doesn't really bother me, but I guess if you're somebody that's trying to fit into a tight tri-suit and you're conscious of that and bulges and things like that, and yes, I am still talking about the heart rate monitors, I don't have sizing issues like that anywhere else. In terms of the fabrics of the straps, I'm actually starting to like the cheaper one more and more. It's quite soft, it's really comfortable, and again, it's just a little bit grippier for me. Now, the whole thing does feel heavier, and you can really notice it when you have it on, but weirdly for me, I kind of want to notice that I've got it on. Whereas this one is definitely still really soft, really light, and you can kind of forget that you've got it on. Neither of them give me any problems in terms of like rubbing, chafing, or digging in anywhere. And again, I'm really talking about minor kind of differences here. But overall, when it comes to comfort and fit, again, I'm probably gonna go with the cheaper one. There is one thing that I really need to state, and I think this is kind of a durability issue, but over the time I've been using them, this Garmin one has just started to stink. Now, I'm not really sure why that is. I've actually looked after this one more so being the more expensive one and actually having these really cool sort of washing instructions. I've followed those down to a T, but even after I wash it now, it just still stinks, and I think that might be because of either these rubber pads here, or it's just a fabric material, just that kind of rubbery smell. It really doesn't smell great, and it kind of leaves me smelling not as good. Whereas this one, even though it's kind of a more fabric, if that's a word, it doesn't seem to hold any smells as much. But durability wise, they actually both still look new and they work completely fine, and I've had no issues there. Definitely last a long time, and I've changed the batteries on the Garmin one, but I haven't on the cheaper one yet, and that was easy to do as well. Then we get on to price, and as a training aid, I think these are both insanely good value. You get so much good data from them, and heart rate data is just really useful when it comes to training. But there's still a big difference in price when it comes to these two. The cheaper one costing me around £25, and the more expensive one, the Garmin one, costing me 4 times as much at around £100. And I have seen models that go closer to that £200 mark. So next time I'm in the market for a new heart rate monitor, and if you're looking at them now, I'd seriously consider the price, because the Kuspro one, I still probably not pronouncing that right, the one from Amazon, it really does do the job for the price. If you're just looking at heart rate data and you don't need the fancy stuff, then this just works insanely well, and you'll get a really good value product with this one. The Garmin one, on the other hand, is obviously more expensive, but it still works really well, to be honest. And if you want to dive into that extra additional data, you know, I think it's still a really good option. Either's going to work really well, and I think they're both ultimately good value. But if we're basing this off value alone and my experiences, then I'd actually go with the cheaper one.